Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Ashley's Treasure, and today for the ABC April collaboration, I'm doing the letter S, and as you can see, I am using scraps. Lots and lots of scraps. I got scraps from pretty much every project that I've been doing lately, like the numbers. This was from Mass Making Media. Gosh, I can't even remember what these, oh, the ovals, and there's like the back of it. I got tea-dyed paper, from the frames. That one's from the frames. A lot of them, I even got the fabric for the embossing fabric, and I have all the trimmings in here from the quilt as well. And I even got some threads from it too I thought might be interesting to add. Here are the parts that were cut off when I was doing the quilt for the letter Q. Yeah, I got a little bit of everything. And I also have this container that has all sorts of random things in here. There's tags, there's little pieces of fabric, you know, price tags, there's some tissue paper. There's just so many random things in here that I always put in there that I don't know what to do with. And hopefully I can probably use some of this up maybe, because it's all scraps. That's what I'm going for. It's all scraps. I thought maybe some labels, curators. I don't think I actually end up using the curators. I got a bunch of little tags and stuff and numbers that I did myself. I also got some of Tim Holtz field notes. I got them all separated. I thought about using like one of the butterflies. I really want to use that bumblebee, possibly a mushroom or something as like the center point in the as like a cluster, because I'm going to use long strips as clusters. And so yeah, let's begin. So here is a scrap piece of when I did ovals for the letter O, and I had that paper glued onto some cardstock because it's very thin paper, because it was like one of those Temu ones, and then I had dyed paper in the back, so I was just peeling that off and just using the scraps. I have a scrap piece from a book page, and that was from I think I was pretty sure from the mixed media masterboard that I made. And so I'm just kind of cutting pieces off, trying to layer them, see where this could go. I felt like it needed some more color, so I used my vintage photo and to distress the edges. And I wanted to crinkle it up and give some more character to it, and distressing the parts that were folded. Alright, and then because of distressing that, once I just distress one thing, I have to distress them all. So I'm hurrying up really quick, distressing the rest as well. And I kind of like the writing of the lettering from the book page being hanging off on the left. I like that tear. And then I thought that would look good layered on the right side of that long strip of scraps. And then I have these very thin strips from the mixed media that I did, and I kind of liked that. I ended up gluing that piece on with glue stick, but the plain one, I think it needed something, so I got some stamps out. I just got my black Versifine, and I'm just pressing some stamps around, kind of at the edges because the center won't really be shown that much, but I choose two different ones to make it a little bit different, and did some secondary stamping on there as well. And I like that a lot more, so I'm just put some glue in the middle so I can place that on, and I like that a lot more. And now I'm just going to do that strip, that thin strip from the mixed media, because it's a lighter color, so I got a whole bunch of different shades of neutral colors in it. And then I thought I would add another one that's a little bit thicker on the right side. And then here's the bee, and I was going to use, I was looking for a number to go with it, but I thought that was a little bit too big. I did use the little label that's from Field Notes from Tim Holtz, and I Oh, I did use a Curator. Okay. So yeah, that was one of the little Curators I used on the top right. I was trying to find at least 3 things to go with it. And of course, I had to distress them as well. And then there was a lot of white around the bee, and I didn't really want to fussy cut it because I was afraid if I did, it would just blend in with everything. It wouldn't stand out enough. So, but I didn't want it white. So I did distress it with what ink was left on my pad to get that white out. And I think that looked a lot better. And so now I think it's safe to start gluing it on here. I'm just using my little tweezers to help hang on to it. And I started using my art glitter glue because this is thick enough that I'm not worried about it, that, you know, it won't make it warped or anything. And now just putting on the little Curator and then the bumblebee. But I didn't do the end of the wings because I knew those were hanging off. They didn't need glue there. And then that little number 18 too, that I did for my letter N. I did numbers, which have really been coming in handy. I've been using them a lot lately. And here's like a little close-up. Look how quick and easy that was with all those little scraps. Alright, so now I'm going to do another one. This one, I got a little cardinal. It's from a children's encyclopedia that I fussy cut out. And again, I'm just kind of taking some scraps and trying to go off with it and see where this will go. I grabbed this piece that was from Temu again. It was just a little scrap piece, and I think that was from the ovals that I did. And then another book page, just distressing it a little bit with the vintage photo again, really quick. I also found some dyed paper, or no, some more pages. This one had lines on it. I liked that because it had a little bit of red in it. And then on the right side is the fabric that I used for when I did the embossing folders with fabric. And so I'm going to have that on the right side, and I love how the little strands are hanging off from there. It adds a lot more character. And then I'm going to pull some more on the ends. Or the bottom I had to trim a little bit, and then pulling more to make it like look more distressed. Getting those little scraps away. And I did add a little bit of ink to it to make it look more aged and not look so crisp and clean. You know, I wanted to look more aged. And then I really wanted to use that little number strip, and I needed more red, so I went and got this circle label from Tim Holtz. And then I needed something else. I wanted a stamp. So I just used my stamps to make a postage stamp, and then used those scissors to make it like zigzagged, my pinking scissors, and then distressing it, and made my own little postage stamp for behind it. Because I needed something else behind it, and I really like that. But I couldn't make up my mind if I wanted it in front or behind of the circle. But of course I had to distress that one as well because everything else is distressed and I didn't want it to stand out. And it's a lot more white, and so that kind of toned that down a little bit. But I really like it behind the cardinal because it kind of makes it look like the sun is behind it, like the sun is rising or setting. And now gluing the postage stamp behind it, and I don't think I placed it at the right spot. I think, oh yeah, the number label was supposed to be over it. That's what I did wrong. Sorry you might hear some noises. I'm actually at my son's soccer practice right now doing the voiceover. You know, I'm so time limited, I gotta do what I can when I can. But yeah, and there is a little, I think I'm done on that one, yeah. And so now on the third one, I wanted to use more colors. I really wanted to use some that scrap pieces that were cut off from the quilt I did. I really wanted to try adding this yellow tag, but I think it was just too much. It was too big, so it didn't quite work out. But again, I distressed the side of the butterfly so the white would be gone. And then I have a book page and actually 2 different type book pages on the right. I think that's coffee dyed paper, and then there's the book pages from the mixed media that I did, and then the strip of fabric from the quilt that I did, and then I found this scrap piece of green ribbon that was in my container, and I really liked that green with it. It definitely went. I liked how the fabric had some flowers on it, and so the leaf made me think of, you know, like the leaves and everything to it, so I thought it tied really well together, and I think it helped make the butterfly stand out even more too. And I like having the butterfly or the floral fabric in there. I thought it was really suiting for the butterfly, so I made it look like it was in like a garden, you know, getting some nectar from feeding from the flowers. I had some like tags and stuff that I made, tickets and stuff that I made from some cardstock and some stamping, and I really liked this one, but it seemed too big. I just couldn't quite make them work. I found this tiny scrap piece of this like black netting um, that was in the blue container of just random scraps, and I really actually liked that. And I went in my labels and I found a red label instead, and I like that more. And again, I'm trying to use one of my numbers. I found one that was purple, and then I put it on green cardstock, so I actually really like that because I went with all the colors that were going on. So I'm going to glue that onto the label first. And then I'm going to start putting glue on the butterfly, but not on the end of the wings because they're going to hang off. And I'm going to add that little black netting stuff behind it and then put it onto the label. Try to line up just right, and then all together in one piece, glue that onto the strips of scrapped paper. And just like that, I got another little cluster. And now this one ended up taking a little longer. I found the seagull, which was from the same place as the cardinal was. It was in a little children's encyclopedia I fussy cut out, and I was thinking of blues and, you know, the neutral colors, you know, the white, the black, you know, and then the tan colors. And I had these light blue strips from a book that I cut the numbers out from, and I really liked that ombre going on, so I really wanted to use those in here. So I used a paper clip to kind of put those pieces together because I kind of liked where it was going, which were all Tim Holtz. And this strip, it needed something, so I got my stamps out. I'm using iced spruce because it's a nice bluish gray color, and to add as a background. And again, I'm going to use like these, what do you call those ones? Are they cancellation stamps or seals? I can't remember. But I'm just scattering them about to add some more character, and I just used a black soot on that one. And then this part of it, I'm going to attach to all of them. Isn't it called cancellation stamps? I can't remember. And then I didn't like the straight edges, so I'm just really quick just tearing them off to give more distressed look, because it didn't look right having a straight edge. And then there was still some wording on the side from the book page, some of the lettering, so I just tore them off. I like that a lot better. And then there was this piece that was actually the centerpiece, where it was like the signature of the book, and I really liked that, and so I definitely wanted to use that in there. I liked it gave like more character, more distress and everything to it. But this is a scrap piece of the dyed paper that I used in the back of the tags I made for the letter O, the ovals. And so I'm just tearing that edge, and the other side as well. I'm just using my ruler that I made to make like deckled edge, and of course the ends of it as well. And then of course I had to distress it. Once I distress one thing, I have to distress them all. So I'm just doing that really quick. And now I'm going to distress this piece, even the center part where the pages were folded, where they were sewn in. I definitely want to distress that as well. Alright, and then I needed something on that blank one, and also I remembered I have this big stamp that I got from Goodwill that I really love, and I really like the map on there and the syllables. I thought that was well suiting with the seagull, you know, it kind of gives that whole ocean feel to it. So I'm just using my black soot and just adding some ink on there, and then I'm going to place the scrap onto the stamp. And I want to get some of that ship on there, so I want to make sure it was facing the correct way. And I am in love with that. And so I did that with this little scrap piece as well. And I used like another piece. I didn't want the same spot of the stamp. Oh, I love that. That's what I needed. So I cleaned that up really quick. And then this piece I didn't have torn up, so I had to distress the edges. And this one I also wrinkled up, and to give some more character, to make it look like it went through more, you know, like it was an actual treasure map or something, you know, pirates or something, I don't know. I just wanted to look more aged and old and give more character. And then I had to start doing that to the blue pieces as well, because there was straight edges, and I think that's why I was having such a hard time figuring out how to use it, because they had such straight edges. And so I used my ruler to help tear that and give it more character, and so it all went together better. And I'm just trying to save as much as possible, just tearing the smallest piece off possible. And of course I had to start distressing that as well with a vintage photo. Alright, now I'm trying to figure out how can I layer this, but something just wasn't right and it was still bugging me. I could not figure it out. But I think that part I just needed to tear because it was coming apart anyway, so finally I just tore it apart. And that's when I started thinking maybe I could have some blue on one side and then blue on the other side. Start doing some layering. And then this is when I put some of that piece on top, and I really liked that a lot more. I think there was just too much blue and that kind of toned it down, but you still got to get enough blue, and I like that a lot more. So I'm going to tear that off so it'll be on top of it, so it'll be a tad bit smaller than it. And then of course I had to distress the parts that I tore so it all looks the same. And then I'm going to add a little bit of art glue and just stick that on there in the center, like so. Just trying to position it just right. Tear that off, distress, and then I'm going to put the rest of it on the other blue part as well. Just tearing extra pieces off to make it the right size, just adding a strip of glue and putting it in the center, so that way you can still see the blue on the sides, and then had to trim that down a little bit or tear it off. There we go. I like that a lot more. So I was going to have one on one side and one on the other, and then I had to have I did the same thing with the maps, have one on one side and one on the other. And now I think I got something going on, and then have the seagull in the center. So then I started looking, and I'm like, gosh, I don't think I like the look of this because it's dark. It's like navy blues, and I got lighter blues going on. But I like these strips where they're going, so I want to glue them down before I forget. But now I got them together, but I need to find something else to go with the seagulls. So I went through my labels. This was one that I did when I was gonna make a masterboard, and I ended up just making it into labels and cutting them all out. I'm just trimming it down because I didn't want the black part that thick, so I just made it very fine outline. Alright, all better, and I like that a lot more behind it. I'm gonna find a different circle to put behind it that was lighter because I didn't want the navy blue in it. So I tried the circle first, and I let it sit for a second, and then I was debating between salvaged patina and tumbled glass. I wasn't sure what blue, because I wanted the closest blue to the strips of blue book page that I'm using. And so I think I tried salvaged patina on this, and I think it looked closer. And so then I stamped that inside, but the outline of that stamp is as big as the black stamp, so you can't quite see that part. Then I have a hole punch, and I thought that would work, and found out that the black one that I stamped is bigger, but that'd actually be a cool little window or whatever, so I'll save that. It didn't turn out the way I wanted. So I'm getting my black soot out, and I'm going to distress the sides, trying to get that black, outline. And so, but first I thought maybe I should age it up a little bit because it's so white. So I took whatever ink was left on there with the vintage photo first, and now I'm doing the black soot, I'm doing the edges, and it didn't seem like enough, so I went and did like a little bit more further in, trying to make it darker, and then added a little bit more of the vintage photo. And I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know if I overdid it or not, but I'm going to try it because it needs like a circle behind the seagull's head. And I was trying to find the same blue as that paper that I'm using, and it's the right size, but it's not really what I'm looking for. And then I was trying to find a different poster stamp to look behind it, and I remembered I had Tim Holtz the sticker ones. So I tried a couple of them, and they didn't seem like the right color. Some were too dark, some were like just not the right shade. It seemed like I was having a hard time finding the right one. And then I thought this one possibly, because it's very similar to the same gray as the seagull's feathers. And so I tried again stamping the one stamp again, and I did one in both blue, the tumbled glass and the selvage patina. And punched them out this time and to see which one would look better. And I ended up not liking either one of them. So I went and went through my stickers and looked for all different types of sea stuff. There's like these burlap stickers, there's seashells. These ones have more bigger seashells. I really like the inker. I really want the inker. Possibly the sailboat, because that one's a circular as well. More seashells. These ones I thought possibly, but they're puffy and that's not quite what I was looking for. But there was a seagull and a bunch of shells. This one had even more seagulls, so I liked that. I thought maybe I could use some more seagulls in the background because they're smaller. Again, this one had inkers on it, and I really wanted to add an inker to it. I thought that would look good, and so there was some on the bottom. I was thinking of fussy cutting one of them out. These ones have a bunch of shells and starfish as well. This one's from K & Company. Those ones are quite dimensional though. Me and my big ideas. I really like the compass there. Because I was looking for a circle and I saw that one, and that one had a very similar blue to it. I even have this one that has like baby boy stickers in it. And there's the wheel, and then there's also an anchor in it. And then I also have these stickers as well, but they're square shaped. And then these ones I got from Dollar Tree that are rub-ons that I haven't used yet, that I thought I could possibly use to add little shells next to it. And this was Maggie Holmes, and I think it was Sunny Days. And I thought this one might have some possibilities. I did like some of the little sayings in here. Favorite day, let's get away. I thought that kind of goes with the theme going on, but I didn't end up using those, but it was a possibility. I did like these labels, but none of them were quite the right color, so that didn't work. But I was looking through all my stickers, trying to get some more ideas because I was having a hard time. I did like these little shells on the bottom because I wanted some near the seagull's feet. So I thought those are possible to use. There was that one blue one. So I have some more options now. So I got that circle out, and that's a lot more like I was looking for. I'm definitely going with that. And I did fussy cut that little anchor out, and it was too small. I couldn't get it to work. So I got that cork one out that was right there, and I really liked the way that looked. But the only thing, I started gluing them down because I like where this is going. I really like that circle, so I'm gluing that down because it has that same type of blue in it. And then I'm going to start gluing the passport down. I'm just trying to label up or line it up just right. And now I'm going to start adding the inker on it behind the seagull. And it was actually quite sticky. I didn't have to add any glue to it. And then I have this strip of fabric that was in that blue container of just scraps. I think that was from the closure that I used for my Peter Rabbit journal. And I really liked the look of it and the color of it. And I wanted that to be for the seagull to stand on. And I was having a hard time getting it just right because I wanted it to be to stand on. And I kept having it too far up, so I kept having to move it further down. See, nope, they're moving it down again. And finally I put the seagull there, so I knew exactly where to put it. There we go. Now it's far enough down. I wish it was kind of wider, but that's okay. And then I remembered I had drywall tape, which I really love this stuff. It has a really nice texture to it. And what's great is that one side is sticky, so you don't have to glue it down or anything, or paper clip it or staple it or anything. It's already sticks on there. And so I did some on the top left and some on the bottom right to add some more fun texture to it. Because I was thinking about cheesecloth, but I remembered I had some of that, so that made it a little bit easier. And then I wanted to add some dimension to the seagull because the inker, you know, is that cork, which is quite thick. And so it didn't lay out flat. So I got these little round sticker or foam adhesives to put behind it to add some dimension. And they end up being too thick. So I cut it in half so that it would be half as thick. And that worked perfect, and it was the same width as the cork was. And so I had one on its tail, on its head, and then I had two, like one towards its back and one on its chest, so that it'll be the same level and even out. Now I can add them down. I did not put any foam on his feet. I did glue that down so it would be onto that little strip of fabric. And now I took these two pieces off from that sticker. They were like glued on there, and I was able to take it off luckily because I didn't want those waves. I just wanted the shell and the starfish, and they're not real ones. I don't know, is it like that resin stuff or something maybe? I'm not sure. I'm not good at that stuff, but they were a perfect size of what I was looking for. And then I was debating about this number 1 that I had laying around. I'm like, when do you not need a number? And I'm like, you know what? It's not bad there. I like it. It has the same colors and it's already distressed, ready to go for me. So I stuck that right there on the top, and I actually quite like that. And then I ended up getting another number, one of the ones that I did for the letter N, the little number. That was the same, that was actually from the book with that blue that I used, the blue strips. That was one of the numbers that I cut out from that. That's why I have the scraps of the blue strips. And now I'm using those little seagulls from those stickers, and I put one towards the top right and one towards the bottom left. And here is a close-up of it. I'm really loving the way this one turned out. It took so much longer, but I really love how it turned out. I think that's like my favorite one now. So here is all 4 of them. I wanted to make more, but it was starting to get so late, and I took way too much time on the seagull one. I went a little overboard with that one, but I absolutely love the way it turned out. But look at all these scraps that I used and made it turn into this. I'm absolutely loving this, and this is like a great way. Like, you always think, oh, that's just garbage, let's just throw it away. Don't throw it away. Look at all the stuff that you can make out of. Look at all these long clusters from all these strips of scraps. You know, scraps of fabric, scraps of paper, you know, so many things to use. And I absolutely love it. And here's the seagulls there. You can see the little sticker one there. There's the number 1, the seagull, the shells. Oh my gosh. And there's the other little seagull on the bottom. So cute. I love it. And the texture that the wallpaper gives. And then I wanted to show you what in the world are you going to use them for? Look at that. Just have it on the side of your page. Look how great that looks. I absolutely love it. So you can just have it as is, or you can have like a little pocket. If so, I would recommend putting like packaging tape or something behind it so it won't get caught on anything. And then here's the little bumblebee one. That would look really cute too on the side of a page. Same as the cardinal. Look how great that would look. You know, just have it on the edge of your page as like a little pocket, or just for looks. And the seagull. I absolutely love this one. I love anything and everything to do with water, so this is like right up my alley. I absolutely love it, and I love the way it turned out. I definitely went overboard with this one. But if you liked it and I hope that gave you some ideas, some inspiration. If so, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Bye.